As Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu leads his country in the efforts against the terrorist group Hamas, he's also fighting another battle in the courts and has been doing so for more than 5 years. And what he's facing is just the tip of the iceberg that many don't know about. It's called the deep state in Israel. And with me now in studio to discuss this and more, Israeli Knesset member Amit Halevi. Amit, welcome to Washington Watch. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Great honor to be here with you, Tony.
Well, we had an opportunity to visit during our time here in Israel, and America's not alone in a deep state trying to undermine really conservative, constitutional-based activity.
Definitely. Actually, the first meaning in Israel, when you say two states, you know, we talked about two states.
Right.
This is the state and the deep state in Israel, because it's a huge problem in Israel. And it's not about conservative, by the way, it's about democracy. I mean, our democracy is under attack actually for 30 years, since the former chief, the former head of the Supreme Court, Aharon Barak, that's his name, actually made this, as he called it, the judiciary revolution. And it was indeed a revolution, because since then, and across the road over those 30 years, the real decision maker is not the people. I mean, it's not our people. It's or the Supreme Court or the, those officials and high-ranking officers. I can give you one example, maybe two examples, very, very strong and serious, because it's relevant to our security status in Israel. Take the fact that the IDF, as actually the Attorney General, the IDF Attorney General, together with Israeli Attorney General, actually prevented from IDF to make those targeted elimination to those people that actually took a part in the massacre. Yes, there were thousands of terrorists that actually get in our kibbutzim.
So they had a veto over the IDF and the prime minister?
Indeed. And we're talking about those people that kidnapped the Bibas family, yes, and murdered them. Yes, we know these people. We have the list, but the Attorney General, for some, a very extreme interpretation of international law, which is incorrect, definitely incorrect, but it's her opinion, and she decides.
And she's not elected.
And she is not elected. And the same thing, I can tell you, 2 years ago in the Knesset, we passed a legislation that actually said that every terrorist that made a terror attack we will revoke his citizenship, and he will be part of the Palestinian Authorities. Yes. Since then, for more than 2 years, the officials do not transfer the information that is needed in order to apply, in order to implement this legislation. So the Minister of Interior, the Interior Minister, his name is Moshe Arbel, needs actually to do this, to revoke the citizenship, to take them out from Israel, and he can't do it because they need the information. It's a very, very specific information. Who of those terrorists gets sponsorship from the Palestinian Authority? Everyone gets. But to take the list, the table, the Excel file, and this Excel file exists in the high-ranking officers in the army, and the high-ranking officers in the army, together with those legal advisors, they just don't bring it to the minister, and that's the way they prevent this legislation to be applied.
It sounds very similar to what Donald Trump experienced in his first term. MK Halevi, let's also talk about how American foreign aid, which has come through USAID, has actually been used here in Israel under the previous administration to join with leftist organizations to fuel that deep state.
Well, in Obama's second term, I think, there was some family in the United States that asks the information who actually got into the White House. In order to get into the White House, you need to have a formal approval. And they found out that Michael Sfarad, it's one of the famous lawyers here of the extreme left-wing movements, he was the the Israeli that actually got in the major times into the White House. And this connection, this global connection between the recent government in the US and the extreme leftist here is not surprise anyone here. I mean, those are global movements, as you know, Tony, global movements that actually had a progressive goal and are doing everything, also undermining democratic regime like in Israel in order to promote their progressive goals. So we were not surprised. We were surprised from the amounts of money. I mean, we're talking, generally speaking, billions of dollars that the US aid actually was given to all over the world for the international goals. It's actually the same neo-Marxist school of thoughts that they are not never dealt in the in the local area, also in the Soviet Union, in the Soviet regime. It was about international revolution. So that's why this connection is part of the international revolution that tried to promote.
MK Halevi, we just have about a minute left, but that's fine. Some would say that's fine in times of peace when there's no threat, but this has proven to put Israel at risk.
No doubt about it. I mean, Israel is after October 7 that we are under. It was not even a regular war. It was a massacre, Holocaust Day, and in these times that there is such that the U.S. government, the former U.S. government, actually was involved here in our local issues. Yes, I want to remind you that Chuck Schumer had this statement that he thinks there should be elections in Israel. So that was the formal words, and behind the scenes, they not only said it in the media, they also made these activities.
They put their money where their mouth was.
Put their money exactly where their mouth was. So
unfortunately, it was our money. It was taxpayers' money that they used to unsettle and create instability in the Israeli government.
Definitely, and alike there are formal words like they want stability and they want the security of Israel. In fact, the last government, Anthony Blinken, I was witness, by the way, to the cruel pressure. And I think that if your audience would know what I'm talking about, he would shock. He would shock, because he came here not one time and made cruel pressure on our vital interests.
MK Halevi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Tony.